Jai Gurudev, and thank you for joining us today. Today, again, we have with us an art film expert and an officer of the Vedic Dharma Sansthan. So, today we are going to discuss a shloka which Gurudev Shishi Ravi Shankarji discussed in the Satsang on the Ganesha Chaturthi. It's called Nirvikalpam Nirakaramekam Nirantamanand Advait Purnam Puram Param Nirgunam Nirvishesham Niriham Parabrahma Rupam Ganesham Bhajeham. So, this shloka describes Lord Ganesha as Nirvikalpa, Nirakara, Ekam, Ananda, Advaita, Parambrahma, Parabrahma. So, how do we bring these qualities into our day to day lives using art of living techniques? Yes, Jagardev, and thank you for joining us today. So, this shloka reflects the essence of meditation itself. Nirvikalpa means freedom from doubts, Nirakara means beyond form, and Ananda means bliss through Sudarshan Kriya. We naturally move from cluttered thoughts to a state of nirvikalpa where the mind rests in stillness. Daily practice of Sahat Samadhi meditation helps us taste Nirakara Anubhava, the formless awareness. When Gurudev speaks about Ganesha, he reminds us that Ganesha symbolizes wisdom without heaviness. The Parabrahma Rupa quality of Ganesha can be lived through balance, working in the world, yet not getting stuck in stress. That is exactly what our happiness program, NDSN course, cultivate lightness inside, power outside. So, from the Vedic Dharma standpoint of view, how do you see the meaning of this shloka being applied to practical human life? Yes, Jai Gurudev, in Vedic symbolism, Lord Ganesha is called Vignaharta, the remover of obstacles. But Gurudev's interpretation takes us one step deeper. Ganesha is not only remover of outer obstacles, but also the inner obstacles of ignorance, stress, and self-doubt. The shloka says, Nirvisesha Niriha, meaning beyond all preferences and selfish desires. In practical terms, when we reduce unnecessary cravings and compulsions, half of life's problems dissolve. In our sanstances, Vedic homas like Ganapati Atharvashesha Parayan or Ganapati Homam, the same intention is carried in art of living courses. The breathing techniques and meditations achieve the same inner purification. Thus, Veda and yoga beautifully complement each other. So many people see Ganesha as having a big belly, and how can children and students apply this shloka in their studies and school life? For children, Ganesha is Vidyadayaka, the giver of wisdom. The shloka reminds them that real knowledge comes when the mind is still or nirvikalpa and joyous or in ananda. In our Yes and Utkarsh Yoga programs, children learn pranayama, games, and meditation that improve focus. Gurudev often says a calm mind is a sharp mind. Instead of cramming under stress, students who practice breathing techniques study with ease, memory retention improves, and exam fear vanishes. So Ganesha's qualities become practical tools for students, concentration without anxiety, discipline without pressure, and joy in learning, not just in marks. Many people worship Ganesha only during Ganesha Chaturthi. How do the Vedas encourage us to live Ganesha consciousness throughout the year? Vedas see Ganesha as a first step in every auspicious action. Prathamam Vigneshwaram, every homa, every mantra, every puja begins with him. This indicates that Ganapati is not seasonal but a daily reminder of removing obstacles within us. The shloka highlights qualities like nirvishesha, beyond likes and dislikes, and niriha, freedom from unnecessary desires. If people remember this daily, they naturally live in contentment. In our sansthan, we encourage families to chant Ganapati Atharvashesha weekly, not only during festival. Similarly, art of living courses offer practical ways, daily kriya and meditation to carry Ganesha's wisdom throughout the year. Now, how do we balance material success with spiritual growth as Lord Ganesha represents both prosperity and wisdom? This is a very practical question. Ganesha holds sweet modakas in one hand and the rope to pull us higher in another. This balance means enjoy the world but don't get stuck in it through our Art of Living Part 2 programs or silence courses. People experience deep inner stillness while being active in the world. When the mind is rested, creativity and prosperity naturally flow. Gurudev always says success without wisdom is a stress. Wisdom without success is incomplete. By practicing breathing, seva, and meditation, we align with Ganesha's principle of outer prosperity, inner detachment, both blossoming together. Now, could you explain how Nirakara Ekam connects with the Vedic rituals where we worship Ganesha in a physical idol form? That's a wonderful question. Vedas recognize both Saguna with form and Nirguna without form aspects of divinity. When we worship a clay idol, We are not limiting Ganesha to that idol. Instead, it is a practical step for our mind to focus. The shloka says, Nirakaram Ekam, ultimately he is formless in one, but the idol becomes a medium to connect. The immersion of the idol after Ganesha Chaturthi symbolizes this very truth that forms dissolve, but the formless remains. The art of living meditation also guides people from focusing on breath or form to experiencing awareness of formless. Both traditions meet here beautifully. Now, Gurudev says Ganesha is a symbol of innocence and wisdom together. How do we bring that into modern relationships and family life? Yes, Jagudev, innocence without wisdom becomes weakness, wisdom without innocence becomes arrogance. Ganesha combines both in families. This translates into listening with openness and acting with maturity. Through art of living relationship programs and satsangs, people learn to communicate without blame, forgive easily, and drop baggage. Sudarshan Kriya especially helps release suppressed emotions. So innocence shines naturally. Gurudev often says, don't try to understand people, love them. Instead, that is Ganesha's way. When innocence and wisdom unite, relationships blossom, conflicts reduce, and families experience harmony. This is living the Shloka Anandam Advaita Purnam at home in everyday life. So, what is your final message on how this Shloka can guide us in 2025 and beyond? Yes, so Jagadev, this shloka is timeless in a world full of stress, competition, and confusion. The message of Nirvikalpa, Nirakara, Ananda, Advaita is highly relevant. It reminds us to drop unnecessary dualities and live in fullness. In Vedic rituals, we honor Ganesha at every new beginning. In modern life, we can begin each day with the same reverence through prayer, kriya, and meditation. Ganapati is not about superstition, he is about clarity, stability, and joy. When people adopt art of living practices, this shloka stops being poetry and becomes experience. That is the true gift of Ganesh Chaturthi for the world. Now, the explanation says Ganapati is Ajam, never born, beyond time. How can we live this timelessness in our busy modern routines? Yes, Jayagurudev, Ajam means beyond birth, beyond beginning in daily life. This translates to living beyond constant deadlines, rush, and age-based worries. Gurudev teaches us to touch this timeless awareness through Sahat Samadhi meditation and silence courses. When we meditate, we step out of time-bound anxiety and enter the eternal. Now, then we carry freshness into work and family. Even 5 minutes of stillness daily makes us realize I'm not just this age, this role, this problem. I am that eternal consciousness that is Ganapati within us, guiding us to act with timeless wisdom amidst modern demands. So Shankaracharya describes Ganapati as nirvikalpa, no thoughts, no duality. How does this help a householder living amidst constant voices and choices? Yes, Jaguar, for a householder, this life means constant decisions, family, finance, future. But Nirvikalpa teaches us that behind all these options is one quiet space untouched by duality. When one touches that, decisions become clear, not confusing. In our Vedic rituals, before starting any new work, we invoke Ganesha to remove inner doubts. Similarly, in art of living practices, Sudarshan Kriya empties mental clutter, making the mind sharp and peaceful. This is the same principle. A Nirvikalpa mind is not indecisive, it is steady. From that clarity, even household duties become joyful, free from overthinking of regrets. The commentary says Ganapati is both Ananda and Nirananda, joy and peace. How do we balance both in life? This is a very beautiful. Ananda means the bubbling joy we feel in celebration. Nirananda is the quiet contentment of peace. Ganapati represents both waves. In daily life, sometimes we need to be expressive, sing, dance, laugh. Other times, silence and stillness nourish us. Gurudev designed the satsang and silence retreats exactly for this reason. Singing fills us with ananda, silence grounds us in nirananda. Without joy, peace feels dull. Without peace, joy becomes shallow. Together, they make life full. Living Ganapati means being both a child in laughter and a sage in stillness, knowing when to flow in each. The shloka calls Ganapati Parabrahma Rupam, the form of all pervading Brahman. How can ordinary people experience this? Yes, Jagata Parabrahma means the essence that is everywhere sun, moon, air, earth, within and outside. In the Vedas, Ganapati is praised as this universal energy for an ordinary person. This can sound abstract, but it is very experiential. The moment you sit in nature, breathe deeply, and feel I am connected to all, you are touching that Parabrahma Rupa. In rituals, we remind people that Ganapati is not limited to one idol but exists in every particle. Art of Living courses give the same realization through breath and meditation. People directly feel this oneness, that is worship beyond ritual. The commentary says Ganapati is a Gunatita beyond the three gunas of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. How do we rise above these qualities in real life? Yes, Jagurudev, the three gunas are like inner weather. Sometimes we are lazy in tamas, sometimes restless in rajas, and sometimes clear or sattva. Ganapati is beyond these gunatita. Gurudev says, don't fight your tendencies, transcend them. Sudarshan Kriya is a direct tool. After 20 minutes, laziness vanishes, restlessness settles, and clarity dawns. Yoga postures balance tamas and rajas. Meditation lifts us to gunatita awareness. Rising above does not mean denying qualities but not being enslaved by them. Like clouds passing in the sky, gunas change, but you remain vast sky. Living in this wisdom, we smile through ups and downs, steady like Ganapati himself. Jagadhev, so why does Lord Ganesha have an elephant's trunk and ride on a small mouse? And how can we understand this in daily life? The symbolism is profound. The elephant represents strength, wisdom, and memory. The mouse represents small desires that can gnaw at peace. To place a mighty elephant on a tiny mouse means mastery over desires, using them without being enslaved. Gurudev explains your wisdom should ride over your cravings, not the other way. In art of living practices, Sudarshan Kriya and pranayamas calm restless desires, while meditation strengthen wisdom. In daily life, when we let awareness lead and not impulses, we live like Ganapati, strong yet humble, wise yet playful, enjoying sweets without letting them control us. The scriptures call Ganapati Gunatitam Chidananda Rupam, beyond qualities embodiment of pure consciousness. How is this seen in Vedic thought? Yes, Jagurudev, Gunatita means beyond Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. He is not bound by moods, he is Chidananda, conscious bliss. Vedic seer said consciousness is everywhere like space. The commentary beautifully compares it to Wi Fi, present everywhere, but accessed only when tuned. Similarly, Ganapati is present everywhere, but only a tuned meditative mind experiences him. That is why rishis meditate, experiencing the vast space inside as his form. In Vedic Homas, Ganapati is invoked as Sarvagata, all pervading. In modern times, the art of living meditation helps seekers access this inner Wi Fi, connecting to Ganapati consciousness beyond all qualities present in every breath. Jai Gurudev. So the explanation says Ganapati is like the vast sky, formless, all encompassing. How can we live this sky like vastness in daily life? Yes, Jagudev, sky teaches us spaciousness. Problems come like clouds, but the sky remains untouched. Ganapati as Akasha Rupa reminds us not to shrink into narrow identities. My stress, my failure, my success, but expand into vast awareness. In daily life, this means not letting small insults or setbacks shrink us. Gurudev trains us to breathe deeply, meditate, and expand awareness so that challenges feel small compared to our vastness. In Art of Living Silence retreats, people directly experience this inner sky, unshaken peace amidst changing thoughts. Living as sky like Ganapati means carrying vastness in the midst of worldly storms. So, Gana means groups, cells in the body, organs, all governed by Ganapati. How do we understand this scientifically and spiritually? Yes, Jai Gurudev, indeed, Gana means groups, whether devatas, people in or body systems. Our body has trillions of cells, each a small Gana. Eyes, tongue, bones, blood, all are diverse forms arising from one seed. Ganapati is called Ganadipati, the master of these groups. Spiritually, it means aligning our body, mind, and senses under wisdom. Scientifically, we can say the DNA holds one seed manifesting into many forms, yet guided by one intelligence. In rituals, Ganapati unites all devatas in life. When we meditate and harmonize mind body, we live that principle. Ganapati is thus not a myth but profound Vedic biology and spirituality. Jai Gurudev. So the commentary says by Gurudev that everything in the universe is vibration, atoms at the base, but forms differ. How is Ganapati connected to this? Yes, Jai Gurudev, physics and Vedanta meet here. At the atomic level, all is one vibration, but at the gross level, gold is gold, wood is wood, iron is iron. This diversity is what Vedas call ganas. different groups of the same essence. Ganapati is Ganadipati, the master of all these vibrations and forms. Gurudev often says, consciousness is the substratum of creation. In Sudarshan Kriya, when breath rhythms align, we experience the same vibration as joy. Realizing Ganapati means seeing beyond differences into oneness, yet honoring diversity. That wisdom brings reverence for nature, people, and all forms of life. Now, scriptures call Ganapati the cause of the universe, Jagat Karanam. What does this mean practically for us? Jai Gurudev has said Jagat Karanam means the universe cannot exist without space and consciousness. If there were no space, where would the sun, moon, planet exist? If there were no awareness, who would experience? Ganapati is the space, the cause behind cause. Practically, it means when we anchor in consciousness, we touch the source of all creativity and peace. In Vedic rituals, Ganapati is invoked first because without base nothing stands. In daily life, meditating first before action is the same principle. With centeredness, our actions become harmonious. Thus, Ganapati as a Jagat Karanam is not abstract but daily wisdom practice. The teaching says Ganapati is both Nirguna or formless and Saguna with form. How do we reconcile this paradox? As Jagradev, this is a classic question. If God is everywhere, how can He have a form? Gurudev gives a simple analogy. Light is everywhere, but when focused, it becomes a laser beam. Same energy, different expression. Ganapati is both the vast formless consciousness of Nirguna and the lovable form we worship as Saguna. In meditation, we experience the formless. In rituals, we celebrate form. Both complement each other. Daily life needs both two: formless silence for inner peace, and form, idol, photo symbol for celebration and devotion. Accepting both saves us from rigid thinking. Ganapati unites heart, science, and devotion together. Then, why do we keep Ganapati idle, celebrate festivals, and do Visarjan if he is already everywhere? That's a good question. The idol is a temporary medium for celebration and gratitude. Inside, Ganapati always lives in the heart, but human beings are social. We need expression, gathering, and festivity. So we invite him into an idol, sing, dance, decorate, and express gratitude for blessings. After worship, we return him to water, symbolizing the divine merges back into infinity and into our hearts. It's not superstition, it's a reminder to be grateful, to celebrate life, and to know the divine is both in form and formless. This cycle of Sthapana and Visarjan keeps devotion fresh every year. Now, people often ask Ganapati has a big belly, symbolic of tolerance and digestion of both praise and criticism. But in daily life, people struggle with belly fat and lifestyle issues. How do you explain the symbolic and practical aspects? Yes, Jagudev, Ganapati's large belly is not about physical obesity. It symbolizes the vastness of consciousness, the ability to hold the universe within. In practical life, we can learn from this symbol. We must digest both sukha or happiness and dukkha or sorrow without disturbance. But when we misinterpret, we indulge in overeating, stress eating, or neglect exercise, which leads to belly fat. The balance is key. Vrat or fasting, mindful eating, and yoga are part of Vedic wisdom. Ganapati teaches us inner expansion, not physical accumulation. When integrated with practices like Sudarshan Kriya and Yoga Asanas, we embody tolerance without unhealthy weight. Can you connect this teaching to specific art of living techniques that help people stay joyful, vast like Ganesha, but physically fit? Absolutely. Gurudev often says joy and discipline go hand in hand. For example, Sudarshan Kriya clears stress hormones so we don't end up eating emotionally. Bhastrika Pranayama energizes metabolism, helping the body burn excess fat. Naturally, Sri Shri Yoga stretches and strengthens, keeping the body light. Our happiness program teaches simple breathing techniques like Nadi Shodhan, which balances cravings. And of course, Sattvic food guidelines we share in Art of Living retreats are aligned with Ayurveda, so one can be big bellied in consciousness like Ganesha without carrying unnecessary belly fat. It's a harmony of inner vastness and outer health. So in the shloka, we read Nirvikalpam, beyond choices or dilemmas. But today, people struggle daily with choices: what to eat, how to work, whether to exercise or not. How do we bring Nirvikalpa clarity? Yes, Jagadam, Nirvikalpa does not mean you stop making choices, but that your choices no longer torment you. You act from clarity, not confusion. In Vedic tradition, clarity comes through Sankalpa Shakti or power of resolve. For example, during Ganesha Chaturthi, we resolve to leave certain habits. That clarity itself is virtue. When you combine Sankalpa with regular sadhana, your choices align with Dharma. You naturally pick a healthier food, proper rest, and seva or selfless service. Instead of indulgence, Ganapati guides the mind beyond indecision, just as Nirvikalpa Samadhi takes the yogi beyond duality. Now, what role do art of living programs play in strengthening this Sankalpa Shakti so that people can live the essence of the shloka daily? Yes, our DSN or the Divya Samaj Nirman program is all about this, breaking limitations and standing strong in your Sankalpa. Even the basic happiness program instills Sankalpa Shakti through guided meditations and breathing. Gurudev guided Sankalpa meditation before Sudarshan Kriya helps the people set intentions powerfully. Silence courses deepen it further. You realize your inner self is already nirvikalpa, beyond dilemmas, and when the community supports you through seva, your sankalpa becomes effortless. So you don't just recite the shloka, you live it with clear, joyful, strong, and balanced mindset. Jai Gurudev.